There's several other unofficial regions of the South, like the
what?
Deep South. That's probably the most well-known. That includes
Deep South?
Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and South Carolina. Sometimes Texas and Florida are included in the Deep South, but originally the Deep South was just those 5 states. The Deep South.
But why? Oh my friends, I love the South, but I was not aware of the Deep South. Do you know regions of the United States map? My friends, this is a great question. I believe at this point I know a couple, but I guess I will find out. Before I go into that, let me ask you for one thing. If you can leave a like, thank you so much. It's the best way to show support. Now, if you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it. You make my day. Have that in consideration. Link for the original video in my description, and let's do it.
Today we're looking at the map of the many regions of the United States. That's right, there are a ton of different regions, not just the South, the Midwest, the West, New England, and the Mid-Atlantic. There's a handful
Okay, he actually said a couple there that I was not even aware. Mid-Atlantic?
of official regions that different agencies and organizations use. And then there's a whole bunch of unofficial ones, like, let's say, the Deep South. That's a region everyone knows, but it's really not an official region.
The Deep South? So there is the South and there is the Deep South? My friends, did you guys knew about this?
Take a look at as many as we can squeeze into this video with a little explanation for each, like how did it come about, what's the backstory here, things like that. Got it? Get it? Groot. Let's take a look. We're going to start off with the northeastern section of the country in what they call the Northeast and Region 1.
Wait, but isn't this New England? Oh man.
Northeast has 2 divisions. Division 1, which is called New England. Division 2, which is called the Middle Atlantic. Most people refer to it as the Mid-Atlantic. Let's start off with New England.
Oh, so basically is two specific regions inside of one?
New England is a cool area up in the northeastern U.S., and it's made up of 6 states: Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont.
Honestly, my friends, I'll run this part back, but around this time in the fall, I feel like this is one of the most beautiful regions in America. Would you guys agree with me? I love all the colors. Is this Vermont, for example? Looks like Vermont, I don't know. So beautiful.
States: Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont. If you're looking for it on a map, it is below Canada and above New York for the most part. It's up there in the Gulf of Maine and the Atlantic Ocean and right there where the Long Island Sound is. You have a whole bunch of other water areas that surround New England, like you got Block Island Sound, Buzzard Bay, Vineyard Sound, Cape Cod Bay, and a bunch of other little bays and sounds that, unless you're from that area, you've never heard of and probably never will again. New England is really where the country got its start. I mean, it's where the Pilgrims landed. It's where Paul Revere did his midnight run. It is filled with...
Oh, that's why the name New England was basically a New England that they started in America, if that makes sense. Okay.
history, charming little towns, and a bunch of people that think they're Canadian, or at least wish they were Canadian. In the last 3 years, the New England area has become one of the most desirable places to move to, and I think a lot of it has to do with their low crime rate and quality of life scores. I mean, they've only got a couple places that have any legit crime, and that's like Hartford, Connecticut, parts of Boston, and parts of Providence. It's really safe, and that's attracting a lot of people. You just got to be able to deal with all the snow because they get it up there. The second division in the Northeast, Region 1, is the Mid-Atlantic. That has New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. Strange amount of people think Pennsylvania is part of New England, when in reality it doesn't even touch New England. I think it has a
I thought New York was part of New England.
lot to do with the history of the Pennsylvania Dutch and all the Amish they have up there and the Mennonites. Most people that think that Pennsylvania is part of New England, really, they just have a passing interest in geography and American history. Of course, you have New York and New York City, where this country really kind of got its start. This is where everyone first started flooding in to the United States, or what would become the United States. Sure, there was other places that started before and had some people there, but this was like the first major hub of the United States. And of course,
I mean, it's still the most famous city in the world, New York City, right?
New Jersey. New Jersey has a ton of American history. Again, most people just have thoughts of the Jersey Shore and the Sopranos when they think of New Jersey, but there is so much more to this state. You never hear about the inner parts of the state. New Jersey is beautiful. It's got some rough spots just like every other state, and I mean, their capital kind of really blows. I think it's
so I had a video reacting to New Jersey. You can find that on my channel, my friends. New Jersey is so beautiful. It's crazy.
Like the second or third worst state capital we have. But other than that, this is a beautiful state that likes to tax people. I got an email years ago about a guy said that he was told by someone that New Jersey started off as a penal colony for people from New York and Philadelphia, or like that was the original plan. I've done some research on it and I've, tried to look it up. I could find nothing about that. So I think that's false. Like they're going to section off a whole area by New York and Philadelphia and just put all the convicts there. No country would ever do that. Wait, there's Australia. Never mind. We wouldn't do that in the United States. Now, there are some other regions that are in here that are unofficial, like you have Appalachia. That covers parts of New York and a good section of Pennsylvania, but that one also goes all the way down into the south. Now,
Wait, the Appalachian region is not official? So the name of this is because of the Appalachian Mountains, right? My friends, I also have a video reacting, at this point I have a video reacting to everything, but I have a video reacting to the Appalachian Mountains. Holy sweet potato, are they beautiful?
One thing to keep in mind, each state has a whole bunch of their own little regions. Like in Maine, they have the 100-mile wilderness, and Acadia, the down east. This video would literally be 3 hours long if I went over all those. If you'd like to hear about each state's regions, I'd love to do a video. Let me know in the comment section.
Ooh,
now, one thing about the Northeast, you're probably wondering why places like Maryland, Delaware aren't involved. They're right there. Shouldn't they be part of this section of the country? No, they're actually considered southern states. But really, they're not. But officially, they are. It's strange. Moving on.
Midwest. My friends, one thing I know about Midwest. There is a lot of corn there.
Region 2.
Hey, but jokes aside, is also one of the most beautiful regions in America, right?
The Midwest. Now, the Midwest is sort of new. Before June 1984, the Midwest region was designated the North Central region. But now it's just Region 2, the Midwest. The Midwest has two divisions.
So let's see if I can name a couple of those states. Illinois, Michigan, I believe Ohio, right? Those two, is this Nebraska? Oh, I'm not sure. Never mind. This was a bad idea. Here maybe Indiana, right?
Third Division and the Fourth Division. In the Third Division, it's called East North Central. That has Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, and Wisconsin. In Division 4, which is the West North Central, you have Iowa, Kansas, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, North Dakota, and South Dakota. This is where you'll find the Great Plains, at least part of the Great Plains. This is also flyover country, Middle America. You'll find regions like the Dakotas here, the Ohio Valley.
Man, I would love to visit this region, North Dakota, South Dakota, all of that sounds so amazing, man.
You also have parts of what's known as the High Plains in the Midwest. The Midwest, though, is like the heartland of America. It's known for families, down-to-earth people. It is known for farming and manufacturing. Manufacturing isn't what it used to be, but it still has a good portion of the United States manufacturing. This is also where you'll find the Rust Belt. The Rust Belt is a region of the United States that's experienced industrial decline starting in the 1950s. This is where a lot of our manufacturing was and where a lot of
Wait, is this real actually? So the Rust Belt is because there is actually a lot of, companies that end up closing and all of the machines end up getting rusted or something? The buildings?
of it left from. This touches a good portion of the country. New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana. Some of America's greatest cities are in the Rust Belt. They're just a skeleton of what they used to be. Detroit, Michigan, Gary, Indiana, Flint, Michigan, Saginaw, Youngstown, Cleveland, Dayton, Ohio, Toledo, Ohio, South Bend, Indiana, Buffalo, New York. It's a shame when you look at this part of the country and you read about the Rust Belt and how things played out and how it is now. This is where everyone lived. If you wanted a solid job and a good lifestyle, raise a family, originally, you moved to the area that's now known as the Rust Belt back in the day. I've also
Oh, really? At one point, this was the most important region in America, or at least one of the most important? Oh, I was not aware of this, my friends.
heard it called the Snow Belt. At least
Hey, Snow Belt. Also love that. My friends, leave me a like if you enjoy this type of videos, because they are a bit different, but I really love to see, the different regions. It's so cool, and America is so vast that this type of videos, they give you nice perspective.
At least the upper part, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Dakota, South Dakota, it gets some serious snow up there. Region 3, the South.
The South. I love the South.
The South has 3 different divisions. You have Division 5, which is the South Atlantic. Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and West Virginia. You have the East South Central, which is Division 6. That includes Alabama, Kentucky, Mississippi, and Tennessee. And then, of course, Division 7, which is the West South Central. That includes Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas. There are several other
Ooh, this is a controversial one, I feel like. Because a lot of maps that I see that they have this region, the South, they don't put Texas and Oklahoma as the South. So this is a bit controversial, right, my friends?
other unofficial regions.
Oh, maybe, no. They are the South, they are not Southern states. Maybe is that the difference?
Of the South, like the Deep South. That's probably the most well-known. That includes Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and
Wait, I have to run this part back, sorry. This is very
Oklahoma
important.
and Texas. There are several other unofficial regions of the South, like the
what?
Deep South. That's probably the most well-known. That includes
Deep South.
Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and South Carolina. Sometimes Texas and Florida are included in the Deep South, but originally the Deep South was just those 5 states. The Deep South
But why? Oh my friends, I love the South, but I was not aware of the Deep South.
South is a term that really didn't show up until the Civil War, and it's pretty much the same region as the Cotton Belt. That's where their biggest crop was, which was the cotton at the time, and those were the 5 states where the cotton was being grown the most. You also have the Black Belt. There's 2 different versions of the Black Belt. One has to do with the fertile soil of Alabama, and one has to do with the color of the skin of the people that were working the farms back in the day. Now, there is 2 versions of the Black Belt, so before you correct me, which I've been corrected several times on this one, you just have to know there are 2 different versions of what the Black Belt is. Neither are official. It's just what people call the area. You also have the Old South.
So the Black Belt is basically a region with a lot of African Black Americans, right? Okay.
Which was states that were part of the original 13 colonies. These states would be Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, and technically West Virginia, but West Virginia at the time was part of Virginia. Regionally, the South accounts for almost 40% of the American population. It was also the fastest growing part of the country between 2021 and 2022, and is home to 4 of the country's 10 most populous states. The South is known for Southern hospitality, just good people, down to earth people.
South.
These days, they've got a lot of...
Come on, my friends, take a look at that. I love that tree. I'm gonna say it. Beautiful America strikes again. My friends, actually, one thing that I would love for you to do, and if you want, of course, but I would love that you could leave me in what region you live. You don't even have to leave the state. You can say, I live in the South, I live in in New England. I would love to know that, my friend.
Poverty. It's known as a really cheap place to live. Things have gotten so expensive here in the United States that a lot of people are just, overlooking all the problems that the South might have just so they could save a buck. Now, it does have a bad reputation, but they have some incredibly great places to live. Atlanta, for being a big metro area, it's not a bad place to live as far
Atlanta is Georgia, right?
as big cities go. Charleston, South Carolina is amazing. Savannah, Georgia is great. The northwest corner of Arkansas is a great place to be moving to these days. North Carolina is one of the most popular states to move to. Asheville, Raleigh-Durham, Charlotte, great places to live. You have the Outer Banks, but you also have heat, humidity, mosquitoes, and hurricanes. One of my favorite regions is sort of in the south. It's part of Arkansas, which is the Ozarks. I love the Ozarks. It's beautiful. Arkansas has a whole host
Ozark states. Oh, my friends, I'm not aware of this.
of problems, but it is easily one of the most beautiful states we have naturally. It's known as the natural state. When it comes to other southern states, there's some states I don't feel should be in there, like Texas and Oklahoma. I think Texas should be part of the West, and I think Oklahoma should be part of the Midwest. That's just my opinion. I don't make the rules. Region 4, the West.
The West, the best. Did I saw that? Did I saw that, my friends? Let's run it back.
Just my opinion. I don't make the rules. Region 4, the West. The West has two different divisions. Division 8, which is called the Mountain Division, which has Arizona, Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming. Then you have...
Oh my god, all of those states are so beautiful. This may be one of the best regions in America. My friends, I know I'm repeating myself, but please feel free to leave me in the comment section what region you live in America. You don't even have to leave me the state, just leave me the region. I would love to know you. And come on, let's leave a like for America, because all America, no matter the region, is incredible beautiful.
Division 9, which is the Pacific. The Pacific has Alaska, California, Hawaii, Oregon, and Washington. If you want to look at amazing wilderness, I think this is where you're going to find some of America's best.
Yeah, this region is also incredible. You know, I have videos reacting to people going from Washington to Oregon and then California, basically doing the coast. Holy sweet potato. Isn't that incredible?
I mean, you have Alaska. Alaska, hands down, the most wild state we have. I mean, it's called the last frontier. You know you're living in a state that's kind of wild when they actually have a waiting list that you have to get on with the state to get roadkill moose meat. Yeah, if a moose gets hit by a car, truck, whatever, and dies, the state comes and collects it. Well, that's a lot of good meat on that moose. So they don't want people to accidentally, quote unquote, hit moose all the time and then just chop it up themselves. So the state has to collect it. And then if you're on the waiting list, you're top of the list, they tell you to come down, pick up your moose. It's a hot...
You guys eat moose? Oh my, okay.
commodity, and if it's out of season, people want their moose meat, they started faking car accidents. You know, when you have a hotline and a waiting list for something like that, you know it's been done many times. You have Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. Again, some of the most wild, beautiful land we have in this country. Oregon and Washington. The Pacific Northwest is breathtaking when you look at the trees.
Beautiful. Oh my god, look at that. Beautiful American strikes again. The thing is, I get a bit distracted watching this because, oh man, when they start showing basically, landscapes of America, my mind is gone. I'm just thinking about America.
You know it's been done many times. You have Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. Again, some of the most wild, beautiful land we have in this country. Oregon and Washington. The Pacific Northwest is breathtaking when you look at the trees, the rain, the rivers, the waterfalls, and the lakes. It is life-changing when you see some of these places. New Mexico, desert. I've said many times I'm not a desert type guy, but you can't deny that it's a beautiful chunk of desert there. Utah has...
Holy. Okay, but he's saying something that I also thought at one point. When I started reacting, I thought the North was much more, it was quite more beautiful than the South, because I thought the South was basically just desert. Specifically talking about Arizona, New Mexico, places like that. But oh boy, was I wrong. Not that it's more beautiful or less beautiful, but it's beautiful in their own way. You know, that region, the Arizona region, let's say, it's incredible. Some of our greatest national parks. Nevada has Vegas, Reno, and Area 51. California is one of the most important states in the country. Yes, it's got a bunch of problems, but that state makes so much money, it pays the way for so many other states in this country. Since Lewis and Clark first made it here, people have always headed west to change their life, to have a new life, to strike it rich. The Midwest has their Midwest charm, where it's a great place to raise a family. It's middle America. The South with their southern hospitality. I think if you pinned anything like that on the West, it would be the sense of adventure. It wasn't too long ago when people were heading this direction to California, Utah, Oregon, Washington, where these people were basically going to the great unknown. They didn't know what was out there. For a lot of us, that was our great-grandparents or our great-great-grandparents. One thing that's kind of... That's the crazy thing, right? America is still a new country, if you really think about it.
Stuck with the people out west is helping your neighbor out, because it goes back to where there was nothing out here, no resources. You fended for yourself. Well, the best way to fend for yourself is have some good neighbors. California's not like that, but the other states you can still find that vibe. Out west, you find some of the unofficial regions like the Rocky Mountain region. You find the Great Basin region, which takes up Colorado, Nevada, and parts of California. You even have something called the Californias. The California is the state of California, and then Baja California down in Mexico.
Okay, my friends, actually, just a quick pause. Since you end up talking about Rocky Mountains, this will be a crazy connection, be ready. I end up putting some reactions on my Instagram for country music. One of them ended up being John Denver, Rocky Mountains. But the problem is, on Instagram and Facebook, those videos are going down when it comes to the audio. And I've been promoting my Instagram, but sadly, the videos are not getting available anymore. And that's a bit of a pain, because I want to make that available to everyone. Yeah, that said, I'm gonna put them on my Patreon. Link is also below if you want to join. You don't have to do it, by the way, but I'm just being honest with you. If you like my reactions to country music, and if you want to see them full, let's say, I will put them on the Patreon. So feel free to support me there if you can. If you don't, no problem, my friend.
Not really part of the United States, but half of it is. You have the Mojave region, which is mostly in California, but also goes into Arizona, Nevada. Up in Idaho, you have the Palouse. Here's a picture of it right here. It's just one of the greatest places to go take some pictures. You also have...
Is that real? No chance. How the hell no one told me about that?
Palouse. Here's a picture of it right here. It's just
Oh my...
one of the greatest places to go take some pictures. You also have the Pacific Northwest region, which includes Oregon, Washington, and Idaho, and British Columbia, even though it's part of Canada. You also have the Inland Northwest, which takes up most of the eastern part of Washington, part of northern Idaho, and western Montana, along with a little bit of eastern Oregon. You also have the Four Corner region, which includes Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. It is the only place in the United States where 4 states actually meet. They have this whole nice thing where it's this big monument and like a park around it. It's really nice looking.
So I can go, I just can go in and say that I'm visiting 4 states. That's tremendous.
We have another one. I think it's like Missouri, Iowa, and Illinois, but it's 3. It's where 3 states meet. It's just a pile of rocks with a really small sign, and you gotta go down a dirt road to find it. So those are your main regions, with the ones that are inside them. Now, there's a couple other ones that I should mention. There's Sioux land, like the Sioux Indians. That's out in Minnesota, South Dakota, Iowa, and Nebraska. You have the Tidewater region. There's the Gulf Coast region, the Virginias, which used to be one Virginia, but then they split it off into West Virginia and Virginia. Of course, you have Tornado Alley. You have Dixie, or Dixieland. That's what they call all the states below the Mason-Dixon line. Those
Dixie? Oh, the Dixie line, okay.
are South Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Louisiana, North Carolina, Arkansas, Virginia, Texas, Kentucky, and Florida. Now, there's other regions like FBI field regions, there's Treasury regions. We're not going to get into all those.
Okay.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this little trip around the United States and all the different regions. If you'd like to see more videos like this, let me know in the comment section below. Which is your favorite region? There are other ones. Which one do you think I missed that should have been in here? All right, everyone. Have a great day. Be nice to
Thank you, my friends. Top 10 US cities that will rob you blind. What the hell? My friend, what is this? That said, thank you so much for watching this with me. Really means a lot. You guys end up staying until the end. Am I surprised that a lot of those regions are crazy beautiful? A lot. All of them are crazy beautiful. Not at all, my friend, because you guys know my perspective about America. It is a pleasure that you guys end up staying until the end with me. See you guys in the next one.